Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi. Okay, so this past week I had a little bit of a different schedule last week. I fasted Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday because Thursday I left for a very quick, short trip up to Utah. It was just 3 days. So I was fasting the day we left. I weighed in, so my weigh-in that I'm reporting today was actually from Wednesday. But because the weekend I fasted on Sunday, I didn't have those 2 days in a row like I normally do. So I would say that the Wednesday weigh-in was a pretty accurate measure of progress. And I was up a pound. I was at 177.5. August 1st, Saturday, I was 176.5. So that is a pound up. And I am okay with that. And I kind of had to figure out what was going on in my head because here's the thing is that I'm good at giving advice, but I'm not always the best at taking my own advice. And I was kind of letting the scale get to me. Just because, I am like a numbers person. And I had kind of gotten in this pattern starting at the beginning. I started at 209. That was my highest weight when I started alternate day fasting. And I was steadily losing pretty reliably. I mean, there were weeks where I would be up and then down and up and down and stuff. And definitely was slow, but it was reliable. And whenever I would go on a trip, the longest I had ever eaten prior to this last vacation, as I've mentioned before, and sorry if you're getting tired of me talking about this, but the reason I am talking about it again is because I feel like there's probably people going through the same thing that are watching, whether, they took a longer vacation or just took a break from fasting and they're experiencing this, trying to get back where you were. So yeah, I got down to my goal weight and then immediately went back up like 5 pounds, which isn't a big deal, but for someone who is losing very slowly, 5 pounds, that was like, it took me 2 months to get those 5 pounds off. And it's kind of taking just as long to get back down, it seems like. And the other thing is just that I'm still traveling some and having, different things going on. It is the summer, and I feel like maybe my body does kind of hold on to weight more in the summer because of the heat here. Maybe I'm retaining water. I don't know. It's hard for me to know because I've never fasted through the summer before, and maybe that's just an excuse, but I haven't changed the way I'm eating, and I've actually, as I've mentioned before, I have done some things to kind of help myself go back down, like the little mini egg fasts and things like that, cutting back on sugar. So anyway, I had to kind of think about it, and I was like, you know what, even if I'm 177 or in the 170s, like, this is a good place for me to be. My clothes all still fit, the clothes that are smaller sizes that I've bought. And if I look back, the fact is that I haven't stayed in the 170s for years. Like, I've gotten down to this point, but I stayed here for maybe like a couple weeks and then went right back up. So I have made a lot of progress, and I've been fasting consistently despite, taking some breaks. I'm still very committed to this lifestyle, and I've been doing a good job. So I would say that just reflecting on all of this has helped me to realize that, I'm doing okay, I'm doing well. Yes, I still want to get back to my goal weight of 175 because, like I said, I am a numbers person. I'm also very task oriented, And I know that it's possible. I know that it is likely and probable and all that. So I will get back down to that 175. And I'm just not gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna let it take how long it takes, let my body do what it does, and trust the process. And it really is a process that works differently for everyone and can work differently in your body at different times. And so we kind of just have to trust it and try to enjoy our lives and not stress over these little fluctuations that happen, and really just look at the big picture. And yeah, so last week I left on Thursday, like I said, and I was fasting, but I ended up doing another modified fast. And what happened was I was getting ready to leave for our trip, and I was a little bit stressed out. I do get stressed out when I'm leaving for a trip. Just a lot of stuff to prepare. We took our camper up to Utah, and I had to pack it and do some other things to get ready. And there were kids over at my house, and it just, it was kind of stressful. So we didn't leave till the afternoon, and I just had this feeling that I needed to eat something before we got in the car, because I had like a 6-hour drive ahead of me, and I didn't want to be snacking in the car and just like call it an eating day, but I wanted to kind of like, I just felt like I needed to eat something basically to kind of calm my nerves down. And I know that sounds weird because normally I don't do that, but that day I just felt like I needed to. And I didn't want to just eat like pizza like I did the other time that I had the first modified fast. So I just had some nuts. I put it in my little bowl. I'll put a picture in. And I ate that, and then I was like, I don't think it's quite enough, so I filled it up again. So I didn't actually like measure accurately, but I would guess that I had between 500 and 600 calories worth of nuts. And at first I wasn't sure if it was gonna be a good idea or if it was gonna help me, but by the end of the day, I realized that that was a good choice. I mean, it was like a low carb option, really quick. At first when I ate them, I didn't feel super satisfied, but that passed, and then I did. I felt just like, steady, didn't feel any like temptation to snack when I was in the car. So it was good. I'm glad I did it, and I wanted to share that with you just in case you come across the situation, because there is something to do with stress and fasting where it is suggested that if you're going through a very stressful time, that longer fasts might not be the best option for you. And so I kind of had that in my mind, and I think it's true. I think that if you are in a very high stress situation, sometimes it's not the best idea to continue with a longer fast. And you may be totally fine, but that's just something to kind of keep in mind for you. And in that situation, it just was a really good choice. Anyway, so I went on my trip for 3 days, and it was great. So yeah, just to reiterate about trusting the process, on my trip, I was listening to the Intermittent Fasting Stories podcast. I listened to tons of episodes because I was sitting in the car for a long time, and I just love that podcast. I think I recommend it to anyone because there are so many different people, so many different stories. I mean, it's just like for me, I learn something every single episode, but there's definitely some people that more, I identify with more. But one thing I found interesting was there was this guy and his mom on the podcast, and one thing he said was that he started fasting and he did not lose any weight for 8 months. And after 8 months, he just started losing weight super fast. Like he lost 30 something pounds in a couple months, I think it was. And I just thought that was crazy because like how many people would have given up before that point? But he didn't because he felt really good doing fasting and he was doing it with his mom and stuff. And so he continued to do it because he felt that there was health benefits and everything. And he did end up losing weight, but like how crazy that it took 8 months for him to get there. And I just think that for everyone, fasting to some extent, you know, whether or not alternate day fasting is good for everyone is debatable, because it is kind of more, it's more rigorous for sure. But fasting in general, whether it's alternate day fasting or a time restricted feeding daily window approach, is really healthy and good for our bodies. And I think that the process of what's going on in your body is different for everyone. And there may be, you know, internal healing that you need to tackle, that your body is going to prioritize. And sometimes that means that it takes longer for you to actually lose the weight. So keep that in mind and just trust the process and focus on how you're feeling and your mental clarity and, you know, other things that maybe brought you to fasting. And, you know, I'm talking to myself as well, just to try not to focus so much on the scale, and just know that, you know, your body will land where it needs to be. So I hope that that helps you, and let me know how you're doing, and also share with everyone else if you have experiences where you have maybe stalled for a long time, or it took you a really long time to start seeing the weight loss and then you did, because I'm sure that will help other people as well. So I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.